10 gaming moments you were not supposed to laugh at in 2021. Imagine a video game giving you the most scary roller coaster moments that you can imagine, or giving you weird vibes. Have you ever laughed out loud in such instances? Sometimes it just happens for reasons not known to many of us. We're not here to scientifically analyze the human reflexes at such unusually bizarre moments, but put forward those exact instances to see how you react. Hello there everyone. Today we'll be talking about 10 video game moments that you weren't supposed to laugh at, but obviously did. So let's begin with number 10. At number 10, we have Sonic 06 the Hedgehog / human love scene. There's no denying that Sonic the Hedgehog on the Xbox 360 / PlayStation 3 was an unmitigated disaster. It's buggy, frustrating, and boring. It is not fun. It is a mess, it is a waste, it is a big fat mistake, but on top of all of that, it has the most asinine story possible that includes a Sonic / human romance, and it's not exactly one of the funniest moments. What makes them so intolerable is that Sonic looks just like an animated puppet, and his love interest is just as deeply in the uncanny valley as Sonic. Having any kind of relationship with a real human is bad enough, but Elise has this weird doll-like expression and movements that make it honestly kind of creepy. The first scene where Elise tends to Sonic's wounds is bad enough, but the second one where they hug and Sonic tells her to smile is really funny. But the cutscene when you get to beat Sonic's story and Sonic strangely gives Elise a thumbs up, gives a nice smile and winks at her, and she winks back with this zombie-like dead movement, this is what can be called a nightmarish scene to which no one can ever laugh. And everything about these two is just such a bad idea, it's so funny. Number 9. And number 9 is the yelling scene from the Outriders. Most games these days avoid having any laugh out loud so bad it's good moments in them, but Outriders feels like a relic from the PS3 Xbox 360 era, at least when it comes to the story. Honestly, it's not all bad, and if you love games like in Years of War, it's kind of endearing, and even if you're whatever about the story, the gameplay is great. But we're not talking about the good stuff here, we're talking about the goofy as hell stuff. This is where the moment is. Your dude is trying to save someone, but they disappear, and as a reaction, your dude just immediately bursts out this primal yell like he's Conan chopping up someone's head. I don't know exactly what it's about at this moment that cracks me up like this is a moment in a million stories and half of them are funny and half of them are like alright. Yeah, I get it. It's not the latter, but it's the former. Your dude's strange expression combined with the crazy grunt scream is hilarious. It might not be as funny if you're playing a female character, but with a male one, there's just something so absurd about it. It's not that yelling in a situation like this is completely unexpected, but the style of yelling combined with the silly face and the fact that it goes on for just a little too long makes it one of the all-time great laugh-worthy scenes in my book. Number 8. Rolling down to number 8, we have the entire ending of Metal Gear Solid Revengeance. What we can really say about the entire ending to this one. The entire ending of Vengeance solidifies the rest of the Metal Gear. This is a series that should be ashamed of itself. It's full of overly dramatic and borderline ridiculous moments, but aside from a game not created by the series' creator, Kojima managed to outdo everything, so the plot leading up to the game's conclusion is very nice. It was an inside job, according to 9/11, a false flag incident, where the bad guys dupe Raiden assault on a US military base. You fight for reasons you're aware of masterminding your typical bad guy corruption, Armstrong is a politician, and his flashy Metal Gear as well as you. Everything appears to come to a halt, but nothing does get completely insane, as you're aware. You're in for a laugh when some goon starts squatting and grunting like a Dragon Ball Z character, eventually revealing that he's a nanomachine-infused monster that wants to purge the weak like there are so many absolutely hilarious moments in the sequence. It's hard to tell whether they were trying to be funny or not. How the hell did you get elected? Well, I don't write my own speeches like the moments where Armstrong solemnly speaks about how you should fight for what you believe. The most amusing moment is when Raiden appears to be joining Armstrong, only to dramatically turn it around on him. The expression on Armstrong's face is priceless. The entire sequence has to be seen to believe it. It's definitely supposed to be funny at times, I believe, but a lot of it is unintentional. The combination of the two is why it's not higher on this list. Number 7. On number 7, we have the time Goofy died in Kingdom Hearts 2. This video could honestly be a list of things that will happen in Kingdom Hearts. That series is just bursting with ridiculous moments that are played deadly serious, but for a lot of fans that's actually part of its charm. These games combine time-bent and incredibly elaborate anime melodrama with the classic Disney canon. It's a mix that should be like oil and water, but for many people, it works, and for some, it's ironic. For others, it's not. I personally think the games are brilliant, not necessarily for their narrative elements, but when it comes to the laughable moments, the goofy death scene really just can't be topped. A lot of other moments require reams of explanation about the convoluted plot of Kingdom Hearts, but this one just stands on its own as funny as hell moment that is presumably supposed to be serious. What leads up to it doesn't matter at all. He is, quote, dead. You'd think this would be a comedy moment. You know, he gets hit on the head and everyone cries, but he's actually okay. It's supposed to be a legitimately tragic moment. It's Mickey Mouse swearing revenge for the death of Goofy. It's ludicrous, and yeah, they do kind of play it for comedy later when Goofy shows up alive, but they take their sweet time getting to that point, and it mostly just seems like we can't help but laugh out loud. Number 6. At number 6, we have the Trish death scene in Devil May Cry. This is probably the most infamous scene in the entire Devil May Cry series. Later parts of the series began incorporating a lot more intentionally funny sequences, but the original DMC was almost entirely dead serious, which makes this part a lot funnier. You've probably seen it on memes, but I'm talking about the part where Dante screams, "I should have been the one to fill your dark soul with lights." It's a ridiculous thing to say, but the way Dante's voice cracks at the end while shouting "light" makes this one of the all-time great video game comedies. It's only made weirder by the fact that Trish, the one who's dead, is actually a monster who is made to look like Dante's mother, which only adds this weird edible dimension to the whole thing. This whole part is supposed to be taken dead seriously. It's got sad music, dramatic zooms that work, but instead this one line just makes it hilarious. Number 5. Number 5 has Metroid Other M. The story of Metroid Other M isn't really all that funny. It's mostly infuriating now because the game has its fans. The gameplay can be quite enjoyable at times, but the story is rough and there's a lot of it. Turning Metroid from a singular exploration game into a Metal Gear-like melodramatic action game didn't work out all that well, and a large part of that failure was due to the characterization of Samus. That really bad voice acting didn't help either. After getting through the tutorial, the game immediately starts bludgeoning you with metaphors. The entire sequence concludes with a line as if it was crying out for me to get it. Samus has a baby problem. Simply use the word baby and everything else, otherwise the audience will not understand. It's just too subtle. If Samus doesn't say baby all the time, we might forget that there was a baby. This game is needlessly explanatory though. Number 4. At number 4 we have Hunt Down the Freeman's ending. Here's an odd thing. Before there was Half-Life Alyx, there was one Hunt Down the Freeman, a fan game that was actually sold on Steam. I was about to say it was pulled because it was for a while, but it appears to be back up again. It's set as a side story to Half-Life 2. It's about you guys hunting down Gordon Freeman for vengeance for beating him up with a crowbar. Yes, those are crowbar scars for some reason rather than focusing on gameplay like most Half-Life games would. This one has a lot of cutscenes, and yeah, it's on this list because they're really bad. Like, it's all pretty silly, but the ending in particular is like a Damn Queen album, one hit after the other. Your main dude confronts Adam, a different character that he also wants to get revenge on, and they get into a silly little chase before the main guy shoots Adam in the leg. He somehow immediately stands back up, gets shot a few more times, and is still stumbling around. Number 3. At number 3 we have the chase sequence from Heavy Rain. It's not just like the chase sequence itself, but it's when you don't do the chase sequence correctly. Like, it starts off kind of normal, you're investigating something, some guy runs off, and you're just off to the races. You're getting hit by not one, but 2 cars accidentally, grabbing somebody, which I don't know. Then you go into a supermarket, ram into some people, some boxes fall all over everything in the supermarket. Like, I swear to God, it's like a Jerry. Because when you get the chicken thrown in your face, it cuts to this close-up that I can only describe as the most insane thing, like how a movie would play for comic effect. But it's got this really dramatic music playing. It's just ridiculous, to be honest. It's hard to actually recite any of this to you. I had not to think of any of the visuals while I was talking about this, because it's genuinely like one of the most ridiculous things. Number 2. At number 2 we have Mortal Kombat 4 Jax's ending. Fighting games endings aren't exactly high art, but for the genre's low bar, the endings in Mortal Kombat 4 are still hilariously bad. Worst of all is the absolutely infamous Jax ending, which is so full of goofy moments that it's almost impossible to describe immediately when you see this thing. You want to laugh. You see these characters try to have a dramatic scene, one of their canned fighting game poses and animations. I mean, that's goofy enough. Number 1. At number 1, we have Exodus. Exodus from Earth, Mike's death scene is ranked first. I'm pretty sure no one has played this game. It's a ripoff of Half-Life 2 from 2008. It's called Exodus from Earth, and the humor is entirely based on 2 factors. It has a perplexingly bad translation that reads like it was machine translated or something, and it has terrible English voice acting. When you combine the two, you get some of the most bizarre and hilarious moments in gaming history. Case in point, the death of Mike right from the start, you know this is a winner. From your maid dude's line read of "Thanks me too," which is just beyond bizarre, and in the line reads just get worse. The funny thing is the other guys' voice acting isn't actually that bad, but the main guy is just next level terrible. Why does he say it that way? What is happening that we can highlight nearly every line of the scene? Outside of the laughable cutscenes, it's just so perfect. Trying to read these loading screens with a straight face is like a step above gibberish. The entire game is hilarious in an unintentional way. What are some great examples of some drop-dead dumb moments in video games that made us laugh unintentionally? Drop in the comment section and let us know. Thank you for watching.